Beth D'Amato.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Beth D'Amato. My nickname from Jack was Lil Reba. You can tell that. I've worked at ILM for 18 years now. Jack and I were co-workers, office mates, travel buddies, connoisseurs of good crude humor and bad TV. And we were the closest of friends. As you can imagine, over those 18 years, I've amassed quite a list of acronyms, ditties, and euphemisms that Jack created on the fly. For instance, when ILM was located in San Rafael, one of the streets you took to get to ILM was Bellum. Jack and I shared an office at the time, and he happened to overhear my partner on the phone with me saying, "I'm on Bellum, babe." From that day forward, even here in the Presidio, if Jack knew I was on the phone with her, he would say, "Is that Connie? Is she on Bellum, babe?" On our floor here in B building, or even in my house, a day rarely goes by without us quoting him, and I don't really expect that to change. Not having him here is an adjustment I don't think I'll ever get used to. But missing him at every turn reminds me of all of his crazy stories. And he had so many, about growing up, about arriving in San Francisco, and about all of the different places he's lived in the city. Jack's sister Nancy recently asked me how Jack got to work every morning. I told her when we first moved here, Jack would take the bus or get a ride with a friend. But one morning he walked up to me with a big grin, holding a cup of coffee, and said, "I have a driver." He had called a cab a couple of mornings, and each time it was the same man. But then Jack noticed that even on the mornings he hadn't called, he would be there on time, parked in front of Jack's door with 2 cups of coffee, one for him and one for Jack. He enjoyed his drive with Jack so much he made him a part of his morning route. Some of Jack's best stories, though, were of his long and infamous career in visual effects. He brought so much history and depth and passion to this place. The best was walking the halls overhearing him say something to the effect of, "And that's my David Fincher story." As if somehow we all had a David Fincher story. But who was this charming man named John who went by Jack, who sometimes had a killer mustache or would occasionally wear a nun's habit? Most of all, Jack was a friend to everyone he met, and I mean everyone. He didn't see you as your years of tenure at ILM. He didn't see you as your job title, and he definitely did not care how old you were. He was the first to greet the new person at work. He was the person who made us all feel comfortable being ourselves. He was the one who pushed the boundaries of when a fart story was appropriate, or with whom it was appropriate. He was the guy who insisted on buying his friends dinner on his birthday. Jack never left anyone out. His cross-section of friends was unlike any I've ever witnessed. So, to properly honor our dear friend, I've chosen to loosely borrow from my favorite classic 80s movie. Jack would expect no less from me. We see us as we want to see us, in the simplest terms, the most convenient definitions. The coworker, the artist, the executive, the security guard, the producer, the cab driver. But not Jack. Jack saw us differently. To Jack, each one of us was a friend who could always use a laugh, a new nickname, a cup of coffee, a stroll for fresh air, a fart story, or an old TV theme. And one I sang almost on a daily basis was "Good Times," to which Jack always replied, "Ain't we lucky we got 'em?" Yes, we were, my friend, and we will miss you dearly.
A bit of a reoccurring theme among Jack's friends here, for sure, is keep feeling his presence. We're getting a sign for him, or sign from him. which doesn't surprise me much. He was such a kind person. If anybody would figure out a way to let you know everything was okay from the other side, he'd be the guy. The Saturday after he passed, we had a little get-together at City Beer, which was one of Jack's favorite hangouts. And I was talking to a couple folks, and three sisters of perpetual indulgence walked by. And I said, that's got to be a sign from Jack. They all kind of nodded, and not 2 minutes later, 7 naked people went by and bicycles. That was a sign from Jack.